Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Knitknacker Natters. It's lovely to be chatting to you guys again. I'm really sorry it's been 3 weeks since my last podcast, and this is supposed to be a fortnightly one, but life has kind of taken over, but I'll chat more about that later. Anyway, for those of you who don't know and who are new, I'm Fatema and I'm the host of this podcast, and this is a crafting related podcast which mainly focuses on knitting and crochet and the occasional spinning. I am filming from Singapore. I'm not Singaporean. I'm originally from the UK, but I've been here for the last 6 months with my husband and son. Okay, so welcome to everyone. I have a lot of thank yous because we've had a steady rise in kind of new subscribers. So a warm welcome to you guys. I hope you enjoy the podcast. And big thank yous to everyone who's mentioned me either on Instagram or on their own podcasts. People have been saying some very nice things. I haven't caught up on everyone's podcast. I do have to apologise. But the ones that I have seen that did shout outs for Knitknacker Natters are Shannon of Socksetera. Hi Shannon, she said some very sweet stuff. In my last episode I filmed a segment on breast cancer. As you know, it's October. I should say it's October 27th today. By the time you see this, it will be the 28th in Singapore. So it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I am a medic, and I wanted to just chat a little bit about breast cancer and get everyone talking about breast cancer awareness, and get you guys checking yourselves really. And she had some very nice things to say about that. So that was really, really sweet, Shannon. Shannon, if you haven't been following her, is doing a 6-week road trip with her husband and her daughter Emma. Hi Emma. And they're travelling in an RV, and it's kind of part business. And she's doing vlogs which are really fun to watch, and the perfect amount of time for me to be able to fit in, so that's probably the one thing I have kept relatively up to date with. The other person to mention was Kay, who is the crazy sock lady. I have discovered people in the knitting and crocheting world who are just divas when it comes to, you know, this art, and she is one of them. She just manages to finish so much, and I'm totally in awe. Please do check out her podcast. Kay is lovely, and she started podcasting roughly the same time as me. She does weekly podcasts, and the last episode I watched, so I'm up to episode, I've just finished, well, not just, I finished it last week. Episode 5 is where I'm up to, and she was showing a absolutely amazing crocheted blanket she did for her son. I've forgotten what she called it, but it's done with Tunisian crochet, which is something I really want to learn. I can crochet, but I've never attempted to do Tunisian crochet. So it was beautiful. Do go check her out. I'm always amazed by people who podcast weekly and get so much done, especially when they have other things going on in their lives, because I'm kind of at a point where I'm really juggling at the moment. So tips are welcome. And the third podcaster that I wanted to mention was Heidi of Packing Knits. She's been crocheting, or she did crochet one of the Franciscan Gypsy, I don't know if they're called amigurumis or if they're called steffies, so let me know, one of her big turtles, and she was mentioning how she was delirious with fever, and she was just beavering away at this thing because she wanted something to cuddle, which I thought was a very strong work ethic, because everything goes out the window for me when I'm sick. So do check her out as well. So as podcasters, we often feel a little bit embarrassed, maybe, about kind of name dropping when it comes to pod love. But one of the things that I kind of wanted to do today was to mention a viewer. Because we all have fantastic viewers that kind of keep coming back even when we're having off days, who kind of support us, who encourage us, and really we wouldn't be doing this without you guys, to kind of motivate us. So not quite pod love, but viewer love. Not very catchy, so if anyone has a catchy name, please let me know. I wanted to give a big shout out to Krista, who is Knit One Pug Two, or is it the other way around? No, it is Knit One Pug Two, on Instagram, and I think that's her handle on Ravelry too. I have gotten to know a little bit about her through my Ravelry group, and she's fantastic because every so often she'll see something either on Instagram or a pattern on Ravelry that she think might be of interest to me, and she'll message me about it, which I think is really, really sweet. And she's given me some ideas for things to do for my son, and she sent me a couple of bee themed photos, one of which was quite scary, Krista. But yeah, so I just wanted to say hi, Krista, and thank you for supporting me and motivating me and encouraging me. So yeah, one of the other things I wanted to say was quite a lot of you gave me some very positive feedback on the breast cancer awareness slot, and as I mentioned earlier, I am a medic by profession, and given how much feedback I got from it, it was a health section was something I was thinking about pursuing, and I've been encouraged to look into. I'm not 100% sure if it's something I want to do. Health awareness is important to me, but advice varies from country to country, and I am a little bit kind of wary of the fact that I might be saying stuff that health professionals in your country might be telling you otherwise. So with health awareness, you don't really want to be confusing people. But if it is something that you're interested in, I'm sure I can do kind of broad segments, and it's my way of kind of keeping my hand in medicine at the moment whilst I'm at home with my little boy. So if it is something that you're interested in, then please let me know. I usually upload my episode on a thread in Ravelry, in my Ravelry group, and you can comment down there. You can private message me if you'd rather do that. I have had some people kind of saying don't do it, and I'm in two minds, but I'm happy to do it if there is a real interest, and it might not be something that I do every episode. It might be something that I do once a month, or if there's if there's something big health related going on in the news that that's getting a lot of media attention. So yeah, just give me some feedback on that, and I'll see what I can do to develop the idea further. Okay, moving on to admin stuff, I had to redraw for the 100 subscriber giveaway because Melody, who won, didn't get back to me. So sorry if you see this late now, Melody. And there's been quite a bit of time in between the draw and now, so I thought it was probably best to redraw, and I have, and the winner is Hannah Florian on Instagram. I will try and find out what her Ravelry name is. If you watch Hannah, I'm assuming your name is Hannah, please get in touch with me either by Instagram or by Ravelry so I can send out your package to you, because it's been sitting there and it's feeling very lonely and it needs a home. The other thing that is going on the podcast at the moment, it's my birthday month, and so I've been having weekly draws, and the prizes kind of go to people who are members of my Ravelry group. So I use a random number generator to draw a number from the database every week. And this week, the number, the person that I've drawn is Tasneem 13. I think it's Tasneem 13, who is Natalia from Illinois. So please get in touch with me, Natalia. So just drop me a message with kind of the name of the pattern that you would like, up to a value of $5. Congratulations. And the last bit of admin stuff is really just to tell you all that the To Be or Not To Be Cal is coming to a close. It's been about a month and a half, and it's my first Cal, and it's been really fun to see what you guys are doing. And we've got some knitted patterns and some crocheted patterns in the FO thread. It runs until October 31st, so I will close both the chatter and the FO thread on the morning of the 1st of November here in Singapore. I can't tell you exactly what time, but Singapore as of Sunday is going to be 8 hours plus GMT. So that gives you a vague idea as to when. I'm probably going to close at about 7 or 8 a.m. Singapore time, once I get a chance in the morning. So yeah, I'd love to see what you guys are doing. Please still keep chattering away because you'll be eligible for prizes. And yeah, there is gonna be an informal Cal that I'll chat a little bit about later, that I'm gonna be hosting. I say hosting, but it's informal, so it's not really me hosting, it's more kind of, it's gonna be something I'm doing, and if you guys would like to join in, you like the idea, then you're more than welcome to. Okay, so I should mention that there hasn't been a lot of knitting or crocheting or kind of particularly crafty stuff, so this is going to be relatively quick. I think the admin section is probably the longest section, just because I don't want to be boring you with kind of things that you've already seen. But I do have an FO, and it's not my Hotel of Beach shawl. Yes, that was a bit of a fail. I've been watching Tiffany from Knitting from the Mitten, and she's having a cozy along, so a mug cozy along. I want to say it started last week on the 17th, I think that's correct. But pop over to her Ravelry thread to find out more. It's basically a knit along and a crochet along to make kind of cozies for your mugs. So quite quick and easy. It's a good opportunity to try out different techniques, colour work, cables, and they're quick and easy projects. So I thought it was a really fantastic cowl, Tiffany, and I'm so glad I found out about it. So I decided that I was having a bit of a slump, and I thought I need something that's quick and easy, and I feel like I've achieved something. So I popped over to her thread to look at what the kind of details were about the knit along, and she's uploaded some kind of pattern bundles, so you can check out some patterns, and I think the ones that she's uploaded are all free. And I just picked one. There's quite a few that I'd like to try, so fingers crossed. And I just went into my stash, picked up some acrylic yarn, and got knitting. And here is my mug cozy. So it's an royal blue. It's Hayfield bonus DK. The reason I used acrylic was I thought if it's around a mug, if it gets dirty, I can just pop it in the wash. I don't want to be hand washing everything. And I've got quite a bit of acrylic in my stash, so why not use it? I'm doing knit 1,000 grams, so I'm not allowed to buy anything, and I didn't want to be using kind of artisan indie dyed stuff, just because you have to look after it much better. So yeah, so this pattern is a very simple cable and knit purling. It's quite effective, I think. I'm not in love with it's not one of the best acrylics. I don't mind knitting with or crocheting with acrylic, but it's not one of the best acrylics that I have. It was just something that came to hand. I should tell you the pattern. The pattern is called Cabled Mug Cozy by Fiona Campbell, and it's done on 4mm needles. Really quick and easy. I had it done, I want to say, in about an hour. So yeah, they actually make, I think mug cozies make for really good gifts, like if you don't have much time, and I know people are kind of knitting up for Christmas and Hanukkah, and Diwali, for those of you who celebrate Diwali. So yeah, it's really quick and easy. So that was my FO. My whips, I have the never-ending Hotel of Bees. So I really did think that I would get this done, but I've just not been able to do much when it comes to kind of knitting or crochet, and so I made progress, but not that much more progress. So for those of you who don't know, I've been crocheting the shawl Hotel of Bees by Christina Hadderig. It's a very different style of crocheted shawl, which is why it appealed to me. It's a sport weight shawl, and I'm using the yarn that she recommended, which is Repez stonewashed. And I kind of deviated slightly from the colours that she used, so I'm using kind of a cream, a blue and grey. So I'm getting there. We have made progress. Is this the right way around? We have made progress, but not that much more. So this is where we started. It's an asymmetrical shawl. And it's got kind of 4 different pattern sections. So I think this is called Wingspan. This is called Honeycomb. I think this is called Open Honeycomb. And actually, once I block it out, you'll be able to see it better. There, is that better? So that's Honeycomb. This section is called Bees. And then this is the other Honeycomb section. And I think the 4 patterns just get repeated, and there are 4 sections. So I'm kind of coming to the end of section 2. it's getting smaller, so it should be faster, it's just finding the time to do it. So that's kind of, this is how much progress I've really made on this, so not much more, I'm afraid. For those of you who are interested, I am using a 3mm hook. Okay, the other whip, again, not much progress, are my candy jar cobblestones. So it's Knit Picks Felici, using the cobblestone pattern by Mina Phillips. I was up to here last episode, so I've kind of just done an extra repeat, and I'm about to start the heel. I kind of went into kind of fish lips kiss heel mode, and forgot that, because I'm not looking at the pattern because it's really easy to memorize, I kind of got to the heel and thought, oh, fish lips kiss heel, and then one of my viewers, I think it was Katie, kind of went, oh, Mina's heel is really easy to do, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the heel I was supposed to do. So yeah. I have a bit of a story about the needles. I had started these on Knit Prosing's DPNs, and I like the needles. I find DPNs a little bit faffy, so I had on my last episode said my favourite sock needles are the lace addies, or addy lace needles, and so I transferred them over, and I love the points on the addy lace. But I realised, bizarrely, especially after having used Knit Prosings, that they have quite a bit more drag on them, which I hadn't really noticed before. So then I thought, this is my opportunity to try higher sharps, and maybe because I enjoyed using the Knit Prosings to get some fixed Knit Prosings, I understand that there are Knit Prosing interchangeables now, which would be amazing to have. So that's kind of on my wish list, because I really do enjoy working with them. The higher sharps, in 2.25 I couldn't find anywhere, and I have to be able to justify when I'm buying online. It's usually from the UK or the US. I'm not sure if I've bought anything from Australia. I might have done. I have to be able to justify the shipping, and that's what often kills me when it comes to kind of buying online. Sorry, a side topic, but a lot of wonderful makers are showing their stuff on Instagram, and a lot of you are Etsy sellers, and I'm so desperate to buy what you're selling because I love it, but I have to be able to justify the shipping cost, and if the shipping cost is either the price of, or more than, or sometimes even half the price of the item, I often feel it's not worth it. So I have to kind of park the idea until I'm either able to afford it, or I want to buy a few items to be able to justify the shipping cost. So that's the kind of problem that I'm having at the moment. To go back to what I was saying, higher sharps either weren't available or the shipping was just not worth it, and so I ended up getting some fixed Knit Prosings. So these have been this is the third kind of set of needles that I'm using. Yeah, it's just really about finding the time to do them. Like Mina, I am not doing the pattern on the back, just so that you can see the yarn. I had mentioned on the last episode that I wasn't 100% keen on how this was kind of, the colourways were coming together. I thought it was prettier in the ball. It's growing on me. I quite like them now. So yeah. I almost prefer it without patterning. I feel once you introduce the patterning, I don't know. Yeah. I love the pattern, but maybe I do them on a plain sock. I'm not sure. So these are done on 2.25s. Yeah, that's where we're at. And my last whip is a new cast on. So as I keep mentioning, I'm doing it 1,000 grams, and it means that I have to use up whatever I already have or complete my whips for it to qualify. And I want to make the gram sweater for my son. And I'd already bought the yarn, some Malabrigo Rios, for it. So I decided it's kind of worsted weight, so it's going to be a quick knit. So let's kind of get this on the needles and get it off the needles. That was the plan. We came to a bit of a stumbling block. So it's housed in my Socksettra bag that I had shown on the last episode, and I have done the body, bar the sleeves. So this is where I'm at so far. I'm doing, I think this is the 1 to 2 year old size. People keep saying that the older tin can knit sizes come up a little bit snug, so I'm hoping this is not the case. This isn't for my son for the moment. He turned 9 months yesterday, but it's for when we go to the UK early next year, so I'm hoping that it will fit. He isn't that big, to be honest, so I'm sure it will be fine. So anyway, I did the body, and as for those of you who know and who've been watching for a while, I hate picking up stitches. So button bands are not my favourite thing. I've watched tutorials and it always looks so easy, but when it comes to actually doing it, I really struggle. And so it takes me such a long time. Kind of, it's the picking up stitches part that I find frustrating. The button band itself is fine, although I find ribbing a bit annoying too, but it's not bad, it's fine, I can do it. So I started thinking, let me start again. So I thought I'd do the body, I wouldn't finish the sleeves because I'd get the bit that I didn't enjoy over with first. The idea was to pick up the stitches for the button band and the collar, get that done, and then finish off with the sleeves, so it would be kind of fun. Doing the body didn't take me that long. I started picking up stitches, and this is how much I've done. I have to pick up a certain number of stitches for every certain number of rows, and it's just, I don't know, I find it not straightforward at all. Like, I have been alternating balls of yarn. I don't know if that makes it more difficult to see where to pick things up, but so this has kind of gone into a timeout. I kind of wish there was someone here that would say, hey, I'll pick up your stitches for you. That would be perfect. I have to do it because otherwise it's just going to linger for ages. And actually it is a quick knit and I enjoy it, and I think the finished product is going to be really good. It's just getting it done. So I should mention that's the Grandpa Sweater by Tin Can Knits. I'm doing it in Malabrigo Rios. I didn't mention the colourway names. So it's like a chocolate brown. I have the bands. So Cocoa is the dark brown, and then the other one is this colour, which actually is like a light brown beige, It's kind of got bits of red or mahogany in it. I'm not sure if you can really tell. Let me see. Oh. Gosh, I can't find the name of the other one, but if it'll be in my page on Ravelry, my project page on Ravelry. So I'll put the information on there. Maybe the next time you see it, I'll have found the tag. The main body is done on 4.5mm needles, and the ribbing and the button band is done on 4mm needles. So yeah, it's a fun pattern. It's just that picking up stitches with button band is my stumbling block at the moment. Okay, so that's kind of it for knitting and crochet at the moment. I've re-picked up my spindle and having attempt number 2 yesterday at spinning. It's much thicker yarn this time. I bought a crafty class on spinning just so that I had someone to talk me through the process, and they had an offer on their classes. Oops. And they also kind of teach you about lazy Kates and show you how to make a lazy Kate for applying. So I thought it would be really good. The problem that I'm having at the moment, I don't love my fluff, my fibre, and also the thing with spinning is the fibre sometimes kind of flies off and attaches itself to various things, and my son is crawling now, so and teething, so everything goes in his mouth, so I have to just be really, really careful. I want to try and get into the habit of working on it every day, which is what was recommended to me right from the beginning. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I needed some motivation. So yeah. So I'm restarting, so hopefully you'll be seeing more of kind of my spinning efforts. I've been following more spinners on Instagram, and they just do some beautiful, beautiful stuff. But we've all got to start somewhere, as I see it. That's spinning. Acquisitions. I've got a few acquisitions, but I'm not going to show everything to you. I'm just going to show you kind of my birthday acquisitions, really. I had a really fantastic knitting birthday. The knitting and crocheting community were just so wonderful. It was really lovely to kind of wake up to birthday wishes, to find people that gifted you patterns. So generous, so generous, and I can't thank you guys enough. You know, there's quite a few of you, and I don't want to mention everyone because I don't know if you want me to, but also because I'm a little bit scared of missing someone out, and I don't want anyone to feel bad. The one person that I will mention is Barbara from Knitting I Love. She kindly gifted me her leaf hat pattern, which was really generous, and it was one of the patterns I actually wanted to test knit and didn't get around to. So I think I missed that post on Instagram, so I kind of mentioned it to her beforehand and then missed the post on Instagram when she was actually asking for test knitters. But she's given me the pattern, and she's also very kindly gifted you guys a copy of the pattern. So at some point, either for a prize for a giveaway or if we're doing a draw at any other stage, I will have to remember to gift that out to you guys. It was so generous, so thank you, Barbara. It was really, really lovely. of you, and it's such an adorable pattern, and I know she loves designing hats, so keep on doing that, Barbara. So that was really generous, and then I got some kind of presents in the post, and I wanted to share two with you. So that's kind of going to be in my acquisitions. The first was from Michelle, who is one of my new friends in Singapore, and the owner of an Etsy shop, and she very kindly donated the stitch markers to our To Be or Not To Be cow. So check out the Ravelry thread to see those if you want. So I got a package. Oh, I need to kind of look off her address in paper that looked like this. Sorry, I'm covering both the addresses. I should have just blacked them out. And was really, I wasn't expecting anything. So my husband kind of went, yes, another package. And I was like, but that looks different, and I'm not expecting anything. She put her name on the back, so I obviously realised straight away. But this wrapping paper or packaging has actually been made by her daughter. It came in that package, and then in another plastic bag, and there's lots of goodies in this. So this is a gorgeous bag that I can use as a project bag, and it's probably kind of a good sock project bag. And inside I got a lovely note, which I'm not going to share with you, but she knows I like strawberry shortcake, so I thought this was quite apt. Note paper. I got a skein of Knit Picks Felici in Kaleidoscope. I like these colours, they're really cool. And I could make a pair of shorties out of these. And some patterns, pattern Nile, in a black colour. Sorry, the light is shining on that, so you're getting, it's on the label. And then again, she made some stitch markers for me. And they're all lovely, but this one is just gorgeous. I don't know if you can see, it's like a little glass bowl with some glittery stones underneath and a flower. It's just really, really generous, and there's two cakes in there as well. So thank you, Michelle. It was so lovely. I really wasn't expecting this. So it was such a surprise. It actually arrived 2 days early. I can't help myself. And I opened it, but then I repackaged it and kind of opened it properly on my birthday. So that was really lovely. So thank you, Michelle. The other thing that I got was a big box from Grace of Bubbles Travelling Yarns. So Grace has, if you've been watching Bubbles Travelling Yarns, Grace has been given a fleece, which she's kind of been prepping for spinning, and then she's been using to spin initially on her drop spindle, and now on her wheel. And I think on her periscope, I think it was her periscope, it might have been us chatting on Instagram, I'm not sure, I had mentioned that I was just being really inspired by her, but I didn't love my fibre, and so kind of I hadn't been spinning, and I hadn't really been motivated to spin, and she was like, I can send you some because I've got a whole fleece. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I've got plenty, I've got more than I know what to do with, and she very kindly offered to gift it to me, and I did offer to kind of pay her at least for the postage, but she said no. So I was expecting something from Grace. I just wasn't expecting everything that came in the package. So I have to remove one item because this I'm not allowed to share with you. So I will show you what she sent me. So not only did she send me, and I haven't opened it all because I kind of wanted to do it here with you guys. So not only did she send me the fleece that she's been prepping, or the fibre that she's been prepping from the flip. Oh my god, it's so soft. Oh my god, it's so soft, Grace. It's still got bits in it. I love it. She sent me some commercial fibre as well. Your fibre is so much softer than this. Wow. So correct me if I'm wrong, but these are called Rolags. For you spinners out there, if I'm talking rubbish, please let me know. But I think these are called Rolags, and she sent so many. So I can't wait. I'm actually going to stop spinning with my fibre and start spinning with her stuff. So there was that. Not only that, she sent me 2 balls of Morris and Sons Empire 2-ply, which I think is a lace weight, and they're both 100% Australian superfine merino, in this kind of bluey grey. It's a bit heathered. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah, it looks more blue on the screen than it does in real life. Not only that, she sent some tea. Remember the tea that her mum had sent for her? She sent to me with a kind of warning to say it's very strong, so be careful. Not only that, she sent me some minis in this lovely pouch. I love this. This is so cute. I want to know where you got this pouch from. 4 minis. And this is the yarn that Kay dyes from the Bakery Bears, that she made some socks out of. So lots of minis. And then not only that, this is, okay, actually let's open it and see what it is. I know what it is, but because I read the card. It comes in a little gift box. It smells divine, absolutely divine. It's a macaroon candle. I love macaroons. It's so cute and my favorite colour. Oh my god, it smells gorgeous. And Grace, look, it survived, it didn't melt. So Grace sent me a card, which is actually over there, kind of with details of what she'd said and why, and which made me laugh no end. But Grace knows why. And she was a little bit worried that the macaroon would have melted, but it hasn't, and I love it. I love it all. I'm so grateful. There was actually another thing, but I'm kind of not allowed to show you that, so you're just gonna have to wonder as to what it was. But Grace, honestly, I felt really spoiled, and I just can't describe. I can't describe just how generous it really was. And I know you're traveling, and it was just very generous. I just feel bad. You shouldn't be wasting your money on me. So the other thing that I wanted to show you was an acquisition that I got, and I kind of said that I was just going to show you birthday stuff this time round, but I might be using this as giveaway prizes, so I thought I probably should show you now. I was just going through Instagram probably over a month ago now, and Kemper, Raybot on Instagram, was having a D-stash. And this was before Knit 1000 grams, so it was allowed. She was having a D-stash. The lights changed, sorry, I've got a huge glare on my cheek. She was having a D-stash, and I kind of had a look, and she had some Patterns Croy going. And I've never used Patterns Croy before, and obviously heard tons about it from podcasters, and I just thought it might be worth, it might be my opportunity to get some. So I messaged her, and we sorted that transaction out, and I got 2 lots of Patterns Croy. I've actually got 2 balls of each, but I just wanted to show you the 2 different colourways. I didn't know Patterns Croy have their own kind of different lines as well. Oh gosh, the lighting's really bad. The sun has just come out from behind the clouds, so I'm going to try and put it this. Oh. So it's this one's Patterns Croy Stripes. I want to say it's colourway 1407. That might be an easier way to see some of the colours. So it's kind of an aubergine, dark green, a lighter green, some grey, some cream. And it has a picture. I'm afraid it's not really focusing. So that's probably what I'm going to keep, because kind of purple, orange, purple, kind of aubergine colours are kind of my colours. And then their other kind of line is called Jackets, and this is more of a tutti frutti kind of colourway with kind of green and red and pink and cream and yellow, even a little bit of turquoise actually. And this knits still in stripes, but a little bit different. And this colourway is 55611. It's a lot rougher than I expected it to be. One question I do have for people who knit with Patterns Croy is, what size needles do you normally use? Because I normally use a 2.25mm for making socks for myself, and this is significantly thicker. So is it a case of you go up a needle size, or do you just do less stitches? Do you have a lower stitch count, or is it a combination of the two? I'd really like to know. But those were my 2 D-stash items, and that's pretty much all I'm going to show you. I did get the needles as well, but I've kind of already shown them to you. So yeah, what did I want to mention? In terms of what I'm going to be doing in my kind of crafting life, it's all a little bit up in the air, but I really do hope that I can finish my Hotel of Bees before the 1st of November. I'd really like to finish it before the cal is over. I obviously want to finish my socks and my grandpa sweater, because I have knit 1000 grams, and really every finished project is just going to bring me closer, because at the moment, because I have so many whips and no finished objects, I'm only at 10 grams. It's ridiculous. And if anyone wants to kind of help motivate me, you're more than welcome. I've actually put a thread in my group for those of you who want to kind of tally up for those of you who kind of are joining in and want to tally up what you're doing or where you're at. There is actually a thread, and I'm just very disappointed with myself, but it's not been the easiest of kind of weeks, but I'll explain more about that in a bit. So I did mention that I was going to be doing an informal kind of cal, which everyone's more than welcome to kind of join in on. I will open up a thread, but there'll just be one thread which will be both a chatter and an FO thread. It's coming up to kind of holiday time, and a lot of people are doing gift knitting, and it's also in the northern hemisphere coming up to the colder months, and I wanted to take this opportunity to do some charity knitting. My brother runs a food bank in northwest London, and last year, I mean, the food bank is open to everyone, but they tend to get quite a lot of homeless people coming in, often migrants, but not always, and living rough in the cold isn't fun. And last year I was going to help, because I was in London at the time. I was going to help kind of set up some knitting classes or a one-day knit-a-thon, so that we could kind of make not scarves, but hats for the food bank, at the food bank itself. But unfortunately, because my carpal tunnel was just so horrendous, I couldn't do it. And so I wanted to try and make up for it by kind of knitting some hats and maybe some other accessories, which I can then donate to the charity. And so yeah, I'm going to be doing a charity knit along, which will definitely run until the end of December. Obviously it tends to get colder January, February time, so it might be something that runs over. I'm not 100% sure, but I just thought if you guys wanted to join in and do some charity knitting, you can kind of do it along with me. I was chatting to Kelly from the I'm Yarn Inspired podcast, and she's probably gonna be joining me on this, and mentioning on her podcast too. It's not for any fixed charity, so you can make baby knits, you can do whatever you like for whichever charity that you'd like to support. If anyone would like, especially if you're kind of based in the UK, if you'd like to join in and you want to help support this particular food bank, then get in touch with me. I can even post a link on the thread in my group. I thought it was a good way to kind of talk about charities that you guys are supporting, and promote them and make us all aware of the different charities that are out there. And I'm sure I can probably find a prize for the thread, but it's just very casual, very informal, and you know, it's the season to give back, and even if you don't have a particular festival that you're going to be celebrating in this season, you know, it's not nice to be cold, it's not nice to be hungry, and we're lucky enough to be able to do something about that. So it's my way of giving back, and if you'd like to join me, please do. Moving on to other stuff. My life has been totally crazy in the last month, and I've kind of been really, really overwhelmed, which is one of the reasons I didn't podcast last week, which is when I should have done. It's also the reason why I've just not been able to knit or to crochet. It's my zen thing to do, but sometimes I think when things are just getting a bit too hectic, I get too overwhelmed, and I just can't focus. So I kind of need things to calm down a little bit before I can actually get to that place. I also don't want to be doing kind of stressy knitting. Knitting when I'm stressed is different to stressy knitting. I have been trying to kind of build or start up a business for my tech editing. I kind of finished my tech editing course. I'd taken on a couple of projects which I really enjoyed. It's the kind of starting up the business stuff which is all very new to me. It's not my field at all. Bless him, my husband has been encouraging me lots and helping me along the way. So I've been trying to do that, kind of organising business permits and setting things up officially and starting websites and all of that. So I've kind of nearly finished with doing the website, and I'm trying to do it myself, which I'm not a designer. So it's quite basic, but it's all new territory for me. I'm also studying part-time, and it's just a lot of things going on in my personal life too, which I don't really want to share, but things have just been very, very overwhelming. So sometimes the way I cope with that is to take myself off social media as much as possible, which has made me feel kind of very guilty. I feel like I'm letting down people who follow me. But I'm trying to get to a place where I'm feeling a bit more organised before I kind of get back into the swing of things. And I think I'm slowly getting there. So that's just so that you guys are aware of why I might not have been replying to your messages or checking the Ravelry thread or podcasting or posting on Instagram. I've just been busy kind of doing other things. I'm hoping that once the website is kind of up and running and it's almost there, I'll kind of be able to talk a bit more about it. So let's see. That's been my life. I usually do a culture section for this podcast, which is kind of me sharing my experiences of living in Far East Asia. I've not done one in a while, and I thought I'd do kind of a fun one this time round. So I'm going to be talking about a movie. I love watching foreign movies. I've loved watching foreign movies since my first degree, when I kind of discovered that our university library had a whole section, and it was huge. It was almost as big as the science section. So yeah, it's sorry, I just saw a message or a post from Grace. Sorry, Grace. I love watching foreign movies. I took an extra course as a side thing in French for Business when I was doing my first degree. And the only reason I did French for Business, again, not because I was business orientated, but because it was just the next step up without having to do a degree in French from kind of school level French. And to kind of help me, I started watching French movies. which I love. I really, really enjoy. So kind of dipping into the foreign movie genre has been something that I've kind of been doing ever since. I don't mind subtitles, and you know, different countries have amazing things to show you, and it's really interesting to learn about people's culture and perception, and about their country, and about religion, and about politics, that's different to yours, through the genre of film. So I kind of want to talk to you about the movie Yasmin, which is a Bruneian movie, and probably one of the first official movies to come out of Brunei. Again, for those of you who are new, I spent some time in Brunei with my husband when we first got married, and Brunei is a small country on the island of Borneo, so it's part of Far East Asia. It has some stunning scenery. It's very uncultivated, I would say. Sorry, flying paper. It's very uncultivated, so beautiful scenery. Yasmin is a movie that you're going to enjoy if you enjoyed Karate Kid, and I mean the original, not the modern version. It's kind of a very similar premise and relatively similar storyline, so kind of no points there, but it introduces Brunei, it introduces the Malay culture, and it introduces a different martial art, so something, a martial arts that's common to this region. It's practiced quite a bit in Brunei. It's called Silat. It's a very graceful martial art. It can be, I don't want to use the word dangerous, it's the wrong word, but it can be quite nasty, but it's actually based on dance moves. By nasty I mean there's just lots of jabbing and stuff like that. But again, that's not all of it. And this movie really showcases that. It showcases a lot of the young kind of emerging talent coming out of Brunei. So that's very interesting. It's got some gorgeous scenery depicted in the movie, and yeah, a different type of martial art. It's a fun watch. It's nothing too taxing. It's quite relaxing. Some of it is choppy or a bit raw, but these are kind of young filmmakers, young actors that are doing their bits to show us what they can do, and promote their country at the same time. I really enjoyed it, and for ages I actually watched it on the big screen in Brunei, and that was probably well over a year ago, and it didn't, I don't think they kind of brought it out on DVD until more recently. By more recently I mean just before we left Brunei, which is about 6 months ago. I would definitely check it out if I were you. It's in Malay, I should add. It's in Malay with English subtitles, and I think Chinese subtitles too. It's definitely interesting. It's one of the 2 movies that I've watched to come out of this region that I've really enjoyed, on a different level. I mean, it taught me things about this region, and that's kind of why I enjoyed it. There is another movie by a Singaporean filmmaker, which I will talk to you about at some point, just not today because I want to watch the second movie too, but more about that another time. So yeah, just a very short kind of snippet on culture this time round. I'm going to end it there because I have a ton of things to do, and my in-laws are babysitting my son, so I have the morning to get as much done as possible, which I'm really grateful for. Okay, so just a quick reminder, the To Be or Not To Be Cal ends on the 31st of October. Some great prizes. I will draw the prizes. I will close the thread on, like I said, the 1st of November, and I will draw the prizes on the next episode. If I draw the prizes straight away, I'll be too excited and I will end up kind of PMing you guys beforehand, which I don't want to do. The kind of informal charity cal to start from the 1st of November, running at present until the 31st of December. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. There's been quite a few questions this week, so I'd love to get some feedback from you guys, especially on that health section. Is it something of interest to you? And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. If you've enjoyed today, please like. If you're just passing by, subscribe. I'd love for you guys to keep coming back. I forgot to mention, I do have a Ravelry group. Well, I've mentioned that I have a Ravelry group. I didn't tell you what it's called. It's called Knitknacker Natters podcast. And we'd love for you to join us. We'd love for you to kind of share what you're doing, get involved in the conversations. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you next time.